Okay, today's lesson is 5, and it is 10 as a factor. So in our multiplication problem, one of the factors is going to be 10. Let's see what we do when 10 is a factor. First, let's go back and remember how we count by tens. We've been looking at how patterns and skip counting can help us with multiplication. So let's count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I'm looking at these numbers that I see, and I notice that each one of the numbers has a 0 in the ones column. I'm also noticing that in the tens column it goes up one number each time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wonder how we're going to use that when we multiply by 10. If you notice right here, I have 10, 20, 30. It's just like when I count by 10. 10, 20, 30. But how would I write these multiples, 10, 20, and 30, of 10 as a multiplication sentence? I've started some right here. 10 would be equal to how many groups of 10? Or 20 is equal to how many groups of 10? Or 30 is equal to how many groups times 10? I bet you can already figure this out. 10 is equal to one group of 10, and 20 is equal to two groups of 10, and 30 is equal to three groups of 10. I'm noticing a pattern. Are you? Look, I see a 1 in the ones column, and my factor is 1. 2 in the twos column, in the tens column, and 2 is a factor in my multiplication sentence. 3 is in the tens column in 30, and 3 is a factor in the multiplication sentence. Let's use what we just noticed, and let's draw a conclusion. The first thing in my conclusion is I'm going to remember what I already know. I know that when I multiply a number by the number 1, the product is this should be of the other number, is the number's identity. That's the identity property of multiplication. I also noticed when we just did those multiplication sentences with 10, I noticed that when I completed the math sentences of the multiples of 10, the product was the same as the other number, but with an added 0. So, I'm going to take what I already knew about the identity property and what I noticed when we filled in those multiplication math sentences, and I'm going to draw a conclusion. When I multiply by 10, the product is the same number as the other factor, except that it has a 0 added to it. So if I have an 8, and it's 8 groups of 10, or 8 times 10, my product is going to be the same number, 8, but I'm going to add a 0 to it. So my product is 80. Now, let's put this new conclusion to practice. So when we do our multiplication sentences and you see a 10, just like the one here, in a multiplication sentence, you know that the product is going to be the same as the other factor, except there will be an additional 0 on the end.